Hello everyone, and welcome back. Just earlier today, we actually got some insight as to what's going to be included in November's maintenance update. To follow the structuring of the actual blog post itself, we'll go over the two major factors first. First of all, we have the feature that myself and many other people were gunning for more than anything, which is a way to engage with Season 4's content less. The form that this is going to be taking is that once you finish the performance pass, you will have a checkbox available to you to disable the content of Season 4. This doesn't remove all of Season 4's content. Notably, it removes lithophage corruption zones from the map, reduces the lithophage outbreak warning to a normal level, such as other warnings in the game, and will prevent rockpox enemies from spawning outside of lithophage warnings and events. I didn't realize this would be the form that this was manifesting in, but I think this is a significantly better approach than just ending Season 4 early, as it allows the admittedly few people that are really enjoying Season 4 to continue engaging with all the rockpox content at a whim. And to this effect, I hope that we can go the other way with this someday, that once DRG is put to its final resting place, that maybe there will be a menu where you can electively toggle on a certain season. So say you wanted to know what it was like to be playing in Season 2 and seeing routers and the Nemesussy everywhere in every third mission, or just getting bullied by prospectors, I don't think you should be deprived of that experience. So if a player 5 years from now wants to know what that time was like of getting 7 prospectors in a row as Cryo Driller, more power to them. But yeah, more than over the moon to see this introduced into the game, as this fixes what I would consider to be the biggest issue with DRG right now. And the second new major feature, weapon maintenance. Now, additionally in the season terminal, you will have a tab that you can click on which contains new challenges for individual weapons. To what I understand, this is based off of XP gained while carrying a specific weapon in a mission, and once you gain enough XP, you can unlock a skin for the weapon. These come in sets of 1 for every weapon in the game with each new season. Also, they're retroactively adding 4 sets for the 4 previous seasons that will all be earned after the system goes live. So essentially, we will have 4 seasons worth of weapon skins to earn in one go. Just looking at these skins, they look really nice, and I'm happy we're getting more solid colored weapon skins. And just to go off on a tangent for a little bit, I'd like to believe that this is at least partially inspired by a video I made a while back for weapon mastery, to introduce new elaborate challenges required to unlock maybe a skin or something new for a weapon or reward you for using certain overclocks. Obviously, this is a much more streamlined and much less tech-heavy update to implement something that's effectively the same result as what I was gunning for. And you might think it's a little conceited of me to think that I had anything to do with this. However, in my original video, I listed a lot of niche gameplay mechanical scenarios in which you would complete these challenges, and the blog post does happen to mention that there will be, quote, no tricky gameplay specific gimmicks here, just a straightforward reward. It'd be funnier if it was just a nice cosmic coincidence, but I'd like to think that I helped out a little bit on this one. Overall, though, I don't think it's exaggerating to say that this is probably one of the more impactful progression systems that's been implemented into DRG in recent memory. The performance pass is cool, but it's not really interactive. The daily challenges, they might inform the way that you play slightly, but mainly it would just be to go after that script for playing 2 litho missions. This is something that will actually drive players to change the way that they're playing the game and experiment with builds and weapons that they might not use otherwise. I can say that by far, the Sabata is my least used weapon in the game. However, I can guarantee you that I'm going to use it at least long enough to unlock these skins now. And maybe, just maybe, I can find something that I like about it. So yeah, overall, this is probably one of my favorite things I've seen for DRG in years, other than pretty minor quality of life changes. Speaking of quality of life changes, there's a few more footnotes in this update, namely nerfing the Stingtail. And I think it's very, very heartwarming that GSG seems to so accurately be able to articulate why they feel awful to fight against currently, and I'm hoping that this will actually land in the game in making them a more fun and properly tuned enemy to fight against. A little shout out to Chancellors here. Basically, 1 for 1, his idea for making the Septic Spreader more engaging and counterable is to be able to shoot their projectiles out of the air, which is exactly the change that we're getting. Rockpox mitigation, namely making it easier to mash out of, And I would hope that something that's going to be included in this is making the player able to sustain more rockpox before getting stunned. Also, hopefully rolling back the blister changes that made drillers so helpless when drilling rockpox enemies. I understand the change to nerf driller in that scenario and make them not instantly die to drills, but the side effect of this is anytime that you walk near a rockpox enemy and a blister gets shot, it basically just instantly rockpoxes you, which is incredibly unfun to play against. So while being able to mash out faster will certainly mitigate that, I would hope that that would stop happening in general as well. Weapon and overclock balancing and tweaks, namely it seems to be mostly buffs according to them. Still holding out hope for that hipster nerf, but what can you do? And then of course bug fixes and typo corrections. Gunk seed air grabbing fix, please. But yeah, I mean, that's about all there is to say about the maintenance update, but I really don't think I can overstate enough that this is really what needs to happen to make DRG trend in the right direction. In case I haven't made it clear in the past, DRG doesn't need any more content. It is more than a finished game already, and seasons are just icing on top of the cake. But now with the ability to disable seasonal content once finishing the performance pass, that gives a lot of leverage against my major complaint about the last couple of seasons, is that the things that the seasons are forcing into the game is making the game worse. And while playing through 100 performance pass levels of something that isn't incredibly fun or engaging to play against is still a bit of a slog, at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel rather than waiting a year for Season 5 to come out and finally put an end to rockpox. But yeah, overall, great update. You love to see it. Shout out to SNIS, Chancellors, and everyone over at Ghost Ship for listening to the feedback, and I would, in the weapon mastery or weapon maintenance case, hopefully taking a little bit of inspiration from something that I feel like I put a lot of time and love into, but obviously taking note from Chancellors and that idea from him, or at least somebody saying the same thing as him, and I hope to see some version of SNIS's Contracker TF2 reimagining implemented into DRG someday. I know that's a lot of technical debt to be taking on right now while working on Rogue Core, so that's probably a bit more of a pipe dream, but clearly Ghost Ship are listening. On the note of Ghost Ship listening, please stay tuned. I think the next video might catch your interest. As always, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.
Weapon ready! Ready for action! I was born ready!
I'm SpongeBob.